Yes, people, welcome back. Never a foul, another day, another stream. It feels good, man. We're here Tuesday. You know what it's like? I call it Tired Tuesdays, but tonight we've got the FA Cup as well. So hopefully Wolves can knock out Liverpool and keep their losing run for 2023 going. But people, make sure, most importantly, you like the video, you like the stream. Make sure you share it and tell people all about Never a Foul and all the great guests we've got as well as we keep growing. 6.5K subscribers nearly now. So yeah, you know what time it is. We're here to talk football, giving you that nice Tuesday dinner stream. Mo, what are you saying, man?
Yeah, man. I'm waiting for the stream. Listen, crisis. Some people will say, what crisis Chelsea won? Antonio Conte is going to get sacked. We'll hear from the guests, but also Jurgen Klopp. Listen, it's the first time I hear real talk about this guy and the sacking, and he should leave. His time is up. As you see in the thumbnail, is their time up? Like, listen, man, it's too much for Liverpool, to be honest. Too much pressure on the board. Like the bid, the QATARI bid and all of that. We'll talk about it, but hear me out. This is top 6 shifting. Man United coming to the picture. Newcastle, Liverpool falling down. Chelsea, a lot of money, yes, but is it in the right place? We'll talk about it. I know we'll talk about it, but time.
Yeah.
I know you're happy about your club, man. I know you're happy about your club. You can't stop smiling.
You know what? I have one rule today. I said to myself, people know, obviously, here, Never a Foul, Man United fan of always. But I'm going to try not to talk about the Manchester clubs today. I'm going to try my best to just focus on the Spurs, the Chelseas, the Liverpool. But of course, I'm still so happy, man, with that win on the weekend. But we've got bigger fish to fry. You know, we've got tomorrow, Crystal Palace, which people know is going to be tricky. And then we've got the game against Arsenal, which is the hardest. I'm going to say, by the way, Mo, I wonder if you agree. I think this is going to be the hardest Arsenal team we have faced since they moved to the Emirates. I know they had the Thierry Henrys and I know they had the Mesut Ozils, but this era now of their mentality and what they have as a manager and with that starting 11, I feel like they've got everything right now, the whole package. So I'm scared about Sunday, but we're going to save that because there's other clubs that we need to worry about in the Premier League right now. So big up everyone that's watching. Already over 30, 40 of you here. I can see the comments as well. There's a few comments we want to ping up. I can see that D1's in here. AJ, what's up, people? Solo says hi, Ty and Mo. Nick Nack, evening, lads. Big up D1.
Let's go to the comments when we go to the guests. Okay, let's go to the comments. I know there's a lot of people here because the comments are flying. If we do the comments, we're never going to bring the guests in. But
they've got to defend their teams. The comments have got to defend their teams today.
Exactly,
we're taking people to court today. We've got to answer questions. But big up the guests, obviously, as always. We're going to bring the first one in.
Let me bring them in. Let me introduce them.
Are you bringing them both in together? Or
Together. Listen, people. Today, we got Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs. Crisis clubs only, right? Crisis clubs only. But here we go. There's Jords in the house. And Father in the house, welcome to the stream, people. Welcome to the stream. Absolutely a pleasure to have you guys here with us.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. It's good to be back. Mr. Durag Diaries is here to share the spoils and hopefully shed some light on what's going on over at Tottenham, man.
I like it. I thought I had to come with a woolly hat today. I had to kind of balance it out a little bit. You know what I mean?
You know what it is? It's January, man. It's not trim season yet. Wait till summer.
Nah. It's not. Bald head -1 outside. I'm sorry. It's not happening. And then obviously Father's joining us as well. Chelsea fan. He's happy with the signing so far, but there's a lot more to do. But yeah, man, thank you for coming on. How you keeping? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Even though we've had our first win on Sunday, but hey, it's a baby steps, man. Still a long way to go.
It's a start going into that big clash against Liverpool next week. And is Jerry not here yet? I don't believe, Mo, is he?
No, not here yet. He's not here yet. He's not here yet.
He's going to be coming, though. See this thing about Liverpool fans, people right now. They don't really want to be on streams right now. They're thinking about Wolves tonight and what their season could be like come 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying, Jords?
He's going to be treading carefully with his words tonight because they could be very much well be looking at only the Premier League by the end tonight. Because we all know the Champions League, they're out. But after this, the FA Cup, they're just going to be looking at only the Premier League. And that isn't looking so good right now. So
it's tough. Yeah. Can they get top?
I'm going to set a controversial thing here. I would rather see Liverpool win just because I've heard some news from the Premier League. They're going to put a Chelsea v Liverpool delay game on Monday night if Liverpool get knocked out tonight.
Oh, they can change it. I don't think they can change it, Father.
Yeah. It's not
They
too late.
changed the times now because of the broadcasting stuff.
MNF, man. That's what I heard the last couple of hours.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Hey, but people, first of all, you come to the stream, make sure to hit that like button for us. Make sure to hit that like button for us, please. Make sure to hit it. Listen, we're here to entertain people, but also we're here to put these guys into court. Jords and Father, listen, I wanna start right away with Chelsea. Father, listen, I know you won against Crystal Palace. And I know you guys are talking about you guys are happy and stuff. But winning against Crystal Palace at home 1-0 when you're celebrating like you won the World Cup, this is not the Chelsea we're used to know. This is not the Chelsea that used to like always be at the top, always get Champions League football. It's not looking good this year for you with Graham Potter sacking Tuchel, getting Graham Potter, spending €500 million in the last year and a half, starting from the Lukaku deal. It's not looking good. So you're seeing it from the Chelsea fan eyes. How are you seeing the club? Is it crisis now at the moment? Is it crisis?
No, we're not in a crisis at the moment. We're in a rebuild where we had to, as a club right now, when the new ownership come in, Todd Bowley had to fix some of the messes the previous regime that have had before, like for the likes of the transfer and the signing in the summer as well, that I feel like when Marina left the club, we were in a mess position, and we've had no director of football coming in at that time until December at least. So basically, Bowley had to do the transfer work by himself, in fact. And I would not have any grudges against Bowley in other ways, but don't get me wrong. But that sacking against Thomas Tuchel, even though that sparks a bit amongst our fan base, but at the same time, you've got to look at some of these players that have been in the previous regime for the past 10 years now. But even before Bowley, the likes of Aspilicueta, the likes of Kai Havertz, and lots of Mason Mount that have been here for a while now. And at the moment, we're just kind of like in a rebuilding phase. You get some of the players that come in, the likes of yesterday as well, the likes of Mudryk that came on last weekend, and we've unveiled him in front of the Stamford Bridge crowd on Sunday against Crystal Palace. And the fact that, for me, my priority at this season alone is that it's game-by-game basis, in my opinion. I don't think we're going to get into top four, but I'm just looking at it from the longer term. And the fact that Chelsea going to be on a good run in the next couple of years also. But at the moment, we're just going to fix the mess that previous regime that have been made. Though.
So a question here from Nick Knack is saying, but are the new signing any better? Is Nkunku better than Sterling? Is Modric better than Pulisic, Ziyech, Mason Mount, all the guys that you signed? Listen, you tried the signings before. Did it work?
That's the thing. Like, for me, I'm just giving Potter a time at this moment. Like, you know, Nkunku's going to come in next summer as well. You got some of the players that will leave Chelsea as well. Like, so I've seen some rumors about Newcastle linking up with Conor Gallagher and Hakim Ziyech and Ruben Loftus-Cheek to Newcastle. And it'd be interesting what kind of player that Bowley, not only Nkunku, but also like so Felix, maybe we can get him on a permanent basis. Also, I would like to see Mykhailo Mudryk on Saturday against Liverpool on what he can do as a player in that left wing attacker.
Up against Trent first game, that'd be interesting. We're touching
interesting as well, man. Like, I'm looking forward to that game.
Don't you think though? The problem is though, like you said with the previous regime, you guys just had like a scattergun approach to your recruitment. It was a lot of, we're going to sign loads of young players that are just prospects, and then we're going to sign loads of established players that will come in and bring us instant success. At the moment, it seems like you're still doing the exact same thing. Like, there's no clear approach tactically as to who you're signing. It's not like Potter's going, I want this player, he suits my system. It's, oh, I'm just going to go for this player, he looks good. I'm going to go for that player, he looks good. And then you're signing a lot of these players down to like these prison contracts for 8 years. So eventually you're going to get to a point where this player is not good enough for the club, or if not all of them, but some of these players are not going to be good enough for the club, but then they're going to be stuck in contracts, having 3 to 4 years left. and they might not be easy to be sold. And we know Chelsea has loan FC already. You have plenty of players that you can't get rid of, and it looks like you're still going in the same mode that you was in under Roman. Are you not fearful of that?
I'm not really fearful of that anymore, and I feel like I can understand why you said the lots of loan players, likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi was in Leverkusen. You got lots of Tashari, I forgot his name, is Casade is in the Loney as well in our team. And I'll be honest with you, like as long as Bowley trying to get rid of some of the messes, like likes of Kai Havertz, he'll be gone. Likes of Pulisic, he'll be gone. Likes of Ziyech, he'll be gone. We're gonna be back in the square one again. Like we're gonna get maybe a right back, and also that midfield for me. That midfield is the one that I've been missing for the last at least 3 years ever since that we signed Jorginho. We haven't signed any prolific midfielder right now at this time.
Yeah,
in the
it's
moment
been a while. It has
been a while. Like,
do you know what as well though? Because the 8-year contract thing that I think Jords was just mentioning, I actually thought about that as well, and I was like, what is this approach? I don't get it. He's come in and he's just giving out sort of NFL contracts. That's how I look at it. Like, I like my NFL, and it's like you were going to get it for 8 years. However, with the financial fair play, the only thing I'm thinking, George, is that they're signing them on long contracts, so then they don't get pulled down for FFP because the contracts are so long. Because if they do it for 3-4 years and they're handing out, paying 100 million for this, and they're gonna be nabbed by the summer. They're not going to be spending 70 million on Declan Rice or whatever. But if they do it over 8 years, it makes the expenditure look smaller. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the only thing business-wise.
Isn't that the problem though? The squad's going to become bloated at one point because we all know if this player is good enough for Chelsea or not. 2 or 3 seasons, and it's not even just the big signings like Mudryk. We all know the amount of youth signings they made over the past 6 months. Incredible players, a lot of them really good, but not all of these going to be able to break into the squad. And then the ones that aren't going to break into the squad within 2 to 3 seasons, what are Chelsea going to do with them? It seems like they're going to be in the same mold that they was with, the same way that they was with Marina, whereas a lot of these players, like, I don't know, they still got Kennedy playing for them. They've got, what's his name? What's the central midfielder who was at AC Milan? I forgot his name. Bakayoko is still playing for that. Like, you've got these players that have been there for
holy shit! It's Bakayoko still in the box.
They're still not getting let go, and I feel like a lot of these youngsters might be the same thing.
Yeah, it's true. You don't think about them players like that. Big up Jerry as well, by the way.
George. Jerry is here with us. So let me bring in Jerry with us, please. Jerry, welcome to the stream. We're talking about another crisis club next to your, besides your club. So we're talking about Chelsea. We'll come to you. We'll put you on the stand. We'll put you on the stand. But listen, I'm loving George when he talks sense about other clubs. He never does the same about his club. We'll come to his club soon. But
that's all right. It's my first time knowing you, mate.
I like that, Mo. Do you know what? Can I say one thing, Mo? Yeah, the only one I do want to come back to you on. You know when you mentioned like Ziyech, Pulisic, and them type of players, you were saying you were like, oh, are Nkunku and Mudryk better? I'm gonna say they are, yeah. And the reason I say this is because obviously Mudryk, I've only watched a small sample, like Celtic away, Leipzig away, and stuff like that. But I can tell in 90 minutes if a player is good or not. I think in terms of the profile Chelsea need, they've missed profile players like Pulisic, and when you've got your Hakim Ziyech, they're more ball to feet players. And I think when you've seen in the Premier League right now, look at Anthony for Man United. Yes, he's done okay, but he hasn't got that burst of pace to get past players. They all come inside, and it's all like, I like my wingers to be like Martinelli, set maximum, get the ball, Luis Diaz, drive, be direct, run into space, create like chaos by attracting players to him. Mudryk can beat a man. He can run with the ball. He's a ball carrier. And then Nkunku's the same. He can get in tight spaces, but he can also ball carry, he can dribble. So I think in terms of the profile Chelsea need, when you look at the Premier League, I think Mudryk and Nkunku are great signings. Whether they're going to work at Chelsea or not, in terms of individuals, putting them at Liverpool, putting them at Man United, putting them at Spurs, City, I think they work because they've got the style to suit the Premier League. So I actually think they've got it right. I see what anyone else thinks or what Jerry thinks, but I think
before we go out, guys, hit that like button for us, please. Tonight, today, I need the likes to go up at least to like 50. Please do it out for us, please. Listen, Jerry, we're gonna come to you. I know Ty had a question for you about Chelsea before we move to Spurs of Liverpool.
Yeah, what do you think of that? Like, you've seen Luis Diaz come into the Prem for you lot, and he's had injuries, but in terms of when he's played, he's been already like vital. Like, you put him on the team sheet straight away. Do you think Mudryk? Do you see what I'm saying with the Mudryk thing?
Oh, sorry, Jerry is muted. Sorry.
No, he's not. I can hear him.
Yeah, you can hear him, but the stream is not. Here you go. I got him. It's done. You go.
So there you go. There you go. There you go.
Well, you're trying to kill me out here. No,
sorry. My bad.
All good. Now I was saying, I 100% agree. I think the profile of player, like forget the fee, forget whether he's good or not. Just when you look at kind of his abilities, he's fast and he makes runs in behind. Sterling obviously hasn't worked out yet, but you've got Sterling, you've got Mudryk, you've got Noni Madueke that apparently is coming from PSV, another player that likes to run in behind. That profile of player suits A, the Premier League, and B, is different to everything else they've got out there. At the moment, they've got Mount playing out wide, Pulisic, and as you said, they're all ball to feet. And they're players that all would probably suit playing in a 10, but the 10's not really out there like that at the moment. I know Arsenal play with a 10 with Odegaard, but the 10's not really there. So I think that's the type of player that they need to go and allow them to go and kind of create more chances and break down teams, especially when they're playing with this 5 at the back. They haven't even got the pace to go and counter teams properly. So whether the signing's good or not, we'll have to wait and see. It's a massive amount of money for someone that's only played, 50 like senior games or so. But it's the right profile. It's the right profile, man.
That's what I think. Well, I got a question for even you and even our panel, because Mason Mount, and big up stoppage time, obviously Cams and them lot. They were talking about like keep, sell or whatever, or bench, and they asked Mayor he knows his football as well, about Mason Mount, and they were like, sell. Father, you could probably, you're a Chelsea fan, you can speak on this. Mason Mount, obviously, he's come through the academy, and I actually liked him when he was coming up. I thought he was a good player, he's got a lot of energy. But the more I'm watching of him, I'm like, how much does he really impact games? Is he a bit like a glorified Jesse Lingard, where he runs about and a lot of energy, but your biggest praise on a player is like, they have a lot of energy and running about? For me, like, that's shit. I can't even lie. Like, when you say a player's got a lot of energy in that, like, you judge them on their football ability. And I had that at Lingard for years. Do you think now you've got Nkunku who can play number 10 as well, Mudryk could potentially play number 10, but even Mason Mount in general, do you think he's actually part of this long-term thing? Or are you actually on the side now where Graham Potter comes in and he buys better players who can play in that position? Because I think there are better number 10s than Mason Mount. He could be like, there's a question mark about him, or do you think, no, he's a mainstay? I want to see what everyone else thinks in it after as well.
That is a bombshell question, I can't lie. Because I feel like with Mason Mount's situation right now, the contract hasn't been sorted out yet. Then let's not forget. This is the person that wants a 300k in our club, by the way. And bear in mind, guys, he's the player of the season last season. Some people might call it. In my opinion, like I thought Thiago Silva was the player of the season last season. But boy, he's been declining this season. I can't lie. If I were Bowley right now, Potter, I would get into touch with him and say, like, you don't deserve any 300k. I would put you maybe at least 100k for 2 years. But yeah, I could in other these days market, can you find another player that can better play than Mason Mount? Yeah, I would say that. So you got who else out there? Maybe Rafael Leao. So, but I don't think Rafael is going to leave anyway. So there's not many people out there. But I feel like if Nkunku comes into this team next season, I think he'll bench Mason Mount straight away. I'll be real with you.
Ooh, okay.
I think they're different type of players as well. They're two different types of players. Like I think Mason Mount, I really rate Mason Mount in terms of like positioning on the pitch. The problem is Chelsea now are a bad environment for players to play good football. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's just a bad environment all around. Nothing is working for some players. Nothing. Like Sterling came from Man City and he had his confidence up, and within 2-3 weeks his confidence was down, and we can see it in his touch, we can see it in his finishing. That's what an environment does to you. And I think that Mason Mount still has a lot to offer for this Chelsea team. Maybe he doesn't excel in everything, but I still think he's an integral part of a Chelsea team because of the heart. I think he's a future captain for you. But Nkunku is a different type of player.
I think if you have Mason Mount as a captain, that makes him even more undroppable, and really he is replaceable potentially. I think that's a dangerous place for Chelsea to be.
I don't think he's replaceable. I don't think as of now they don't have a better player.
What is Mason Mount's best position?
I don't know. Honestly, some people he's number 10, number 8.
That's the problem, George.
But that's the problem. No, but the problem, he's a number 10, and like Ty mentioned, his best, like the best thing that he brings to the game is his energy and his defensive abilities. He's great at pressing, he's great at running the ball down and just tracking players, but his actual ability on the ball isn't that
Doesn't
good.
control games like Odegaard. Doesn't really arrive on the late.
But what he's saying, George, is
he can't control the tempo, and that's the problem. Is that like as a 10, he doesn't have the best abilities for a 10.
Father,
that's why he can never be the future player.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Mason Mount score 10 goals last year as a 10?
He did.
Yes.
How many midfielders you guys see in the Prem can score 10 goals from the 10 position?
He pops up with goals. That's the thing though. But like Ty said, Lingard used to do that. He pops up with goals. Dele Alli used to pop up with goals, but their all-round game doesn't.
Dele Alli was magnificent.
Maybe in some
and Dele Alli was magnificent.
And he was magnificent for popping up with goals. But then when the goals dry up, you start to see all the other things about their game that they're not good at.
Only that, he had double digits in both aspects. I think he had double digits in both assists and goals. Listen, I'm not defending Mason Mount. I'm just saying they don't have a better player. They don't have a Bruno Fernandes. They don't have a Kevin De Bruyne. They don't have an Odegaard.
Basically,
that's the best that's on the
basically
now.
Mason Mount is a Bruno Fernandes with English, so that's what some people call it.
Okay, now I feel Joe, what were you going to say on it? Because I see that you agree with
obviously I'm trying to look at the stats of for Mason Mount, right? And it's not popping out. I'll look at it another time, but I don't get this agenda on him, you know. I think there's a mad agenda on Mason Mount. No, I know. I'm not saying yourself, but I think in general there's an agenda on Mason Mount. I think it all started with the kind of the 300k situation and going to England, the fact he weren't in great form, and the fact that Southgate starting him. I think that's why it starts. But last season, the season before, no one was saying anything about Mason Mount. I know for a fact those Liverpool fans in our camp saying that we'd have Mason Mount.
I remember that. Yep, I do remember
that. Wasn't he great, Jerry? Wasn't he great at the Champions League run? Wasn't he great at the Champions League?
He was, but that's my point. He
was the integral part, not the he's not the integral part. That's where people confuse about him, and this is why I hate,
father.
This is people why I hate Chelsea player stand. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I do myself also at a player stand back in the day, so let's not get into that way. But I feel like with Mason Mount, it's just like you cannot overhype him in some ways, and I feel for Mason Mount in some ways because some of these fans have high expectation of him just because he's a Cobham through and through. But at the same time, you got to let the kid develop as a better player.
Yeah, do you think Jerry did?
Like, I want to move into another question here. Ty. I want to move into another player, another English player that came with a lot of hype as well. Raheem Sterling. D1 here is asking, there are rumors that Chelsea are willing to listen to offer, especially with Mudryk now, especially with Mudryk and Kunku coming on, Havertz playing now. Isn't that crazy though? Isn't that like mad that they're willing to listen to?
That's the only place I can see him going.
He goes abroad, Jerry.
No, but who?
You mean Sterling to Tottenham?
But that's the only place I could go and see him come. Where he's not gonna Arsenal. He's not gonna go Arsenal. He's not gonna go Arsenal.
No way, no.
He's not going to go. And was he going to West Ham?
It's a false rumors for me. I feel like there's you got lots of Pulisic. He might go. Ziyech also might go this summer as well. Gallagher might go.
Yeah, he can't be.
Havertz also. Apparently, Havertz was linked to Bayern Munich. By the way, Havertz linked with Bayern Munich. Aubameyang was on the bench for most of the time this season. He might go as well.
I think it's simple that like there's other players Chelsea need to get rid of first. And you know, I'm going to defend Sterling a bit because there's one side of it with Sterling that I think was misprofiled. When he came to Chelsea, he was expected to come in. I think I said it with Jords time ago. He was expected to come in and be like the guy that would create, score goals, and do all that major responsibility. He never had that at Man City. You've got De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Grealish. Sometimes he's starting against Everton away, and then he's on the bench against like maybe Crystal Palace at home. He had chances at the back post. He was part of a team. His best traits like running into space, creating that for others. He doesn't get the ball and say, right, I'm going to take a game by the scruff of the neck and create and score goals. So if Chelsea thought he was coming to do that, you've got the wrong player, the wrong person. He's more of
what he wanted though.
Yeah, but I don't think he can handle that responsibility. He's never been able to do that, and I don't think he is that guy. The only defense I can have from Jerry is that the first game back, which you might have watched, Father, they played Bournemouth at home. I saw a connection with him and Reece James, and Reece James got injured. But I think if Sterling's to excel at Chelsea, I think he has to play on the right with Reece James. You don't want him on the left, but that's the only way I see him.
He's not scoring any goal from that right. Then I'm telling you now. No, because if you look at a lot of his goals, he makes that back post run, which obviously he'll be able to do. But he cuts in a lot. He uses the overlapping
and
run.
That's how he used to beat a lot of his players as well. Is cutting in on that right side, like doing the fake shot. Like that was his go-to move. I don't think he's going to do.
He plays on the right. You know, he's a touchline winger. His delivery ain't the best.
Yeah,
and he's going to be out there occupying players for James. Like
so where do you see him succeeding? We're going to Liverpool and Spurs shortly. But okay, where do you see him succeeding at Chelsea? And it's an open question. We can all answer it. If Sterling's to succeed. Because on the left, they've got Mudryk. I'm sorry, £100 million with that energy and the way he plays. He's like their Martinelli now. He is going to play. And then you've got Nkunku potential on the right. And then you're saying Sterling might not cut enough stats on the right. So where does he work?
At Manchester City.
Wing back. Wing back, innit?
I personally feel like you're going to have to play Sterling.
Yeah,
Sterling has to be in the 9. Like, you just have to play him as it's not his position, but you'd have to play him in the 9. Like, he knows how to find goals. He's got decent movement at times, but as you said, he's not going to be good enough to play on the wings and create for Chelsea. But he's a decent finisher at times. So I feel like the only other place that you could potentially use him is in the 9, but then also Nkunku can be played as the 9 as well.
Yeah.
So it might be
They're going to sign a big 9. They're going to sign a big 9 this summer. You have to make sure. You guys, we are sure that they're going to sign a good number 9 this summer. They're going to sell Lukaku for very cheap.
Imagine they go for Vlahovic.
No, thank you. We can have Lukaku.
I'm absolutely 100% sure they're going to go for a good number 9. 100%. They're going to find a number 9 around the world. Maybe the young French guy that plays in the Bundesliga. Maybe. You know what I mean? Like, they are not going to just live with Aubameyang with Havertz. They're not building this team to live with Aubameyang with Havertz.
Have they not signed Fofana? That he's
not for Fofana, yeah, but I think it's going to be a squad depth this season as well. Next season.
Yeah, that's what I've...
Everyone's also forgot about Broha, man. What happened to Broha?
He's going to get a chance next year.
I think it's done, George. I think that injury will finish his career at Chelsea.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. They're like the hardest
for a while now. I don't think
they don't wait. Chelsea don't wait. Only Reece James because of like the high profile of Reece James. But otherwise, I think they're just going to sell him.
Yeah.
I want to segue to Spurs, to be honest. I know that. Hey, listen, Conte has to get sacked, man. Hey,
George,
to drop that. By the way, if you like what Mo just
Tuchel, man, I've heard those rumors. Stay away from
Sorry,
Tuchel,
Father.
please.
Just quickly, if you like what Mo just said there, like the stream. There's 100 of you watching, so please make sure you like and also subscribe to Jerry James's channel as well. Liverpool content over there. George is everywhere. Father's everywhere as well. Always doing helping us. But yeah,
all the links are in their boxes. If you see it on the screen, you'll find their links in their boxes. But
yeah, Mo, how long have you been waiting to say
how
that?
much I advocated for Antonio Conte. Dude, I love the guy, but this is atrocious. At home, getting dominated like this. Forget like defending. They're not even defending well. I'm sorry, George. I'm not sure if you went to the game, but I'm sorry for Dan, the young Spurs fan that came all the way from Miami for that game.
I feel for him.
The
young Spurs fan, I see it, man. I see it.
Man.
Do you know what it is, yeah? And the defense, I don't blame it on Conte whatsoever. He's got one competent defender in there. The other 4 aren't good enough. I mean, Perisic he's not a defender, and I mean he couldn't even play him because if you play him with too many games, then it's already going to be an issue. And then you look at Longley, Dyer, Davies, Emerson, Doherty. These aren't good enough players. These aren't players that you can rely on to play the Conte system effectively and defend good against all these top teams. They are bad. They cause mistakes, and they're the reason why we down for a lot of the time. So I generally don't put the blame on Conte. I put the blame on the players that have let us down. Like Father said, these players have let us down time and time again over the last couple of years. They let us down under Nuno, let us down under Mourinho, let us down under Poch. Like Dyer and Davies were squad players for Poch. 6 years ago, they're squad players. Now they're first team players.
So you're saying no. If you had a percentage radius, you're putting no blame on Conte.
With regards to the performances, there is, of course, some blame towards him. I do think that in-game, tactically, he doesn't change enough and he doesn't change it quick enough. But at the moment, there really isn't much he can do. If you guys look at our squad, he's had a lot of injuries. That Arsenal game, he had to start Sarr. Sarr's been in the best. He's been playing better than Bissouma. and I'm not being funny, if the kid's playing good and he played really good against Palace, he's going to throw him in there.
Hold on. You said something wrong. You said he had to start Sarr for injuries because he's better than Bissouma. That doesn't mean Bissouma's injured. So Bissouma's not performing. So just
no, but that's what I said. I said because of injuries. Your
superstar signing Bissouma is not good enough.
No, because let's get something straight, bro. Let's get something straight. Bissouma was signed as a squad player. We already have Ben.
In the summer, I was hearing Tottenham had the best summer window, man. I was hearing in the summer Tottenham had
he was signed to be part of the squad to improve our squad, but he was never a first 11 player. Højbjerg and Bentner have been the mainstay two in our midfield at our best, and they've been the players that.
Wasn't it supposed to be horses for courses, though? Wasn't it supposed to be when you bring in Bissouma for certain types of games, you might drop Bentancur for that game?
Of course. And unfortunately, not all signings always work out. Bissouma hasn't adjusted to the Conte system quicker than we thought. He's clearly struggled, and even in games, he just hasn't looked himself. Playing for Brighton and playing for Tottenham are two different beasts, and clearly it's showing like mentally. I don't know what's got to him, but it's showing that it's
actual best position. Then is he in the back four? Is he good in the back four formation?
What's that? Sorry, Bissouma.
Yeah, Bissouma. Is he good in the back four?
He usually plays in the midfield three, and that's the thing is that with Tottenham, you're always playing in the midfield two. Now playing again, and when he plays, he's playing with Højbjerg or he's playing with Skip. Like he hasn't really played with a great pair, and I don't think he's found himself the player that he works with. We still got. I mean, it's still early, and like Bissouma hasn't played a lot of games. If you look, he's probably played less than 10 Premier League games, so he still needs time to grow, still needs time to adjust, but. I feel like people are definitely writing him off too soon. We've seen players have a bad season, just like Rashford, and then come back firing next year. So
my boy's a Spurs fan, and he said to me today, Bissouma, when he plays with Højbjerg and Bentancur getting the free role, that's when Bissouma's been excellent. I think there was a game against Everton or something. He came on, and apparently, like the game just changed.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think Bissouma's only going to be successful? Because I rate Bissouma, by the way. I like him. But do you think he's only going to be one of them players that succeeds in a three-man midfield? So then when you play a pivot, there's no point basically playing him. And like Jerry's saying, it's hard because obviously Bissouma you might be rating as a player. But if you're saying, or not you individually, but people are saying Richarlison, Bissouma, one of the best windows in the summer, but then only playing
I was hearing that it was the best window. So that's what I heard as well. The players aren't right, and that's why I've got to dash some blame on Conte because that
Jerry's coming with the whip.
Jerry, how many of these players? Wait. This is where the problem goes though, because I know a lot of these are rival fans. They don't really understand how many of these players were Conte signings. You tell me that because he didn't want Bissouma, he didn't want Jed Spence. He definitely didn't want Fraser Forster.
So why is he not
what I don't get then is that Conte was a manager that said, I ain't signing, I'm leaving. If you don't give me the money, I'm bouncing. He was doing all of this with Levy, and then Levy's allowed to just dictate what players come in and what. That don't make any sense to me. How can you on one side be telling the owners and saying, no, I'm not gonna sign this extension if I don't get money. If I'm not back, then I'm bounced. I'm just doing a caretaker thing and I'm gone. And then the season after, he gets the money, but he doesn't get to spend on the players he wants, and he's still out of the job. Knowing Conte, he would have bounced. I think some of them were.
Some of the
worst players, though.
This was his first summer window.
He's seen it himself firsthand.
No, he did, but this was his first summer window. And then he always said when he joined Spurs, he said it's not going to take one window. It's going to take 2 to 3 windows for me to get my players in and for me to build my squad.
Sorry to cut you off. I don't like to cut, right. So sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but you just said right. This is his first summer window. Would you not say and look at Ten Hag for example, or even Arteta or whatever, comings and goings? Would you not say if it's his first window, a club like Spurs where you want to be, and him as a manager, sort of instant success, doesn't hang around for a long time? Wouldn't you say the first window is the most important? So why wouldn't he sign them players if he didn't want them? That's his important window, right? He ain't going to be important with 4 windows.
No, but the thing is with Tottenham, the way Tottenham works is that just like everyone has sporting director. Daniel Levy is our sporting director. He pretty much is. Until literally 2 seasons ago, Daniel Levy was Tottenham's sporting director. So until now, he's still the guy that's striking moves for Tottenham. It's not Paratici. Daniel Levy's going out there making jobs done because as we all know, for a club's vision, he's looking at the long haul. He's signing players that, because he knows Conte is a now manager, we still need to sign players that are going to be here in 3 to 4 years. That don't make sense. This is what I'm saying. You're signing players for the long term. That's the problem, though, is that the ownership and the manager are not on the same. They're not on the same level. And even Conte said today in his press conference, he said, I would like to see the board and the sporting director come out and speak to the press as to why and tell us the vision of what Tottenham is.
Okay.
Because right now, it's not very clear.
I'll tell you something.
It's not very
Once
clear
you
with the
finish,
signings
George.
we're making, the players we're getting, and how we're going and approaching these windows. It's not very clear to even Tottenham fans.
And
What are we doing? Are we going to back Conte, or are we looking at the long-term vision? We're trying to do a bit of both, and unfortunately, you can't do that. You have
at
to
elite
either choose
level,
one
you
or the
can't
other.
do that. Yeah, I respect that.
Let me tell you something, George, about Antonio Conte. Maybe Spurs fans don't know this. Conte is a very particular manager in terms of like, he has a plan, and if one signing doesn't work, it crumbles. That's the problem with him. The problem is he wanted Richarlison to be the second striker. It didn't work. He wanted Bissouma to be the second midfielder to back Bentancur, Højbjerg, as much as you say. It didn't work. He wanted Perisic to start every game. He can't do it. The problem with Antonio Conte is that his style of play demands work from every single player. And if one doesn't work, the system doesn't work. It crumbles. We've seen it at Juventus. We've seen it at Inter. We've seen it at Chelsea when he got sacked the second year. That's the problem with Antonio Conte. And as you say, your best two signing, Richarlison has been half injured, half not playing great. Bissouma have been injured a little bit.
6
not
starts,
playing
by the way.
great.
5 starts.
Even Romero, by the way, I know you call him the Ferrari or whatever.
Romero,
like
Rolls Royce Romero, yeah.
He is not great. He is not absolutely great, because watch the difference between Skriniar at Inter, the way he treated Bonucci, Chiellini, and Barzagli at Juventus, and watch how the defense, your defense,
Look at the defenders you're naming, Mo. You're naming
he
some
built
of the
these.
best defenders.
My friend.
Chiellini,
That's what you don't
Barzagli,
understand. That's what I'm telling you. George, that's what I'm telling you. Before his time at Juventus, Bonucci was not a great defender. Chiellini was good, but he was not elite. Barzagli was a bench
elite
player. He made them. No, Chiellini was good. Chiellini played second division with Juventus because he didn't leave. He's Juventus through and through. What I'm saying is that for some reason, you can answer this question. Why his development did not work with these particular players? The likes of Dyer, Davis, Højbjerg, even Son has been declining. It worked in every other club. He made Ashley Young a Serie A winner. He made Ashley Young a good player.
Mo, this is where you see it wrong, though, because he's improved a lot of these players, but you can only improve these players for so long before they start to show their real level. Last season, Tottenham played out of their skin. Dyer looked like a whole new centre-back. Davies, whole new centre-back. You're saying Romero played amazing. All these players were playing really good, and all these players that were poor for Tottenham for years, he got a tune out of them. But unfortunately, that tune will only stop, and once these players start to find out of form and they show their true selves and they show that they're just not at that level, and the whole team comes crashing down, especially, like you said, the defense. Tottenham's defense, you look at that back line, which one of those defenders do you look at and say that's good? You say Romero, and then you look at the rest of them and you say that's a mid-table defense. He can go and play. He can go play for Nottingham Forest. Half of these players can be at Nottingham Forest right now, and they wouldn't look out of place because that back line just isn't good. And I don't blame Conte right now, because you see how deep Tottenham are forced to play, how we literally sat back and on off. That's to protect our back line and our bad goalkeeper. I feel like we have so many issues that I just can't blame Conte.
You know what? Yeah, because I want to ask the panel before George answers it last. So George, the first question I'm going to ask you, then it'll help me ask these guys. Is there a manager, right? So say if Conte got sacked right now on the spot, we're on a stream now, Conte's gone. Is there a manager, by the way, on your lips that you want first choice? Is there a manager?
There's no one at the moment first choice. I'll be honest.
Cool. All right, okay, so that we'll play into this part. So Jerry, Father, and Mo, yeah. If you're a Spurs fan right now, which we're not, that's why I'm asking you guys first. Would you back Conte for another summer, or would you let Conte go and get another manager in? Like, if you had a coin in your hand right now and you had to pick one, back Conte again for another summer, and you got to spend all that money, but that means you back him. That means you get who he wants and you stick with him, or you get rid and you get another manager who you believe can get better out of these players and then bring in his own players. What would you, man, do?
I would, if I was Spurs fan, I'm with George on this. Like, you have to stick with Conte in regardless. Like, if he's gone by the end of the season or he gets sacked, he's gonna wait for the money in it. So the problem is that Tottenham will never have another elite manager again if they do not back him. It's very obvious is that the squad depth and the quality is very an issue. No manager can fix that. That is the same case with Chelsea right now. Like, if you sack Potter right now, there's any manager in the world right now you can name Ancelotti, Pep, or maybe let alone Zidane. It's unfixable, bro.
Do what it is. I
only
don't
one
know, man. I don't know. With
It's only
me,
going to change the story of Tottenham.
yeah, for me, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at, from what George is saying, if Levy's still there, you got to change your manager, you know. I was saying before, like, yeah, I was like, Conte, you got to stick with Conte because Conte's he's your best chance at winning right now, I guess. But if Conte, if we're going on what George is saying, and these aren't Conte signings, and he's bringing in players that Conte don't want and stuff, you're just going to be in that same. You're going to be in the same situation next season. It doesn't matter how many windows you have. You're still going to go and you're going to have a one signing that's Conte's, and it's going to be backed up by two signings that are Levy signings. You got to go and just get another manager that's going to be a project manager. And I think when you look at what Poch did, that's probably your most successful period in recent times. You probably got to go down that route again. Get a Scaloni, get a De Zerbi from Brighton. We're saying there aren't any managers. There aren't any managers until they become those managers, if you know what I mean. So Poch became Poch. Arteta, people weren't rating him until he's doing what he's doing now. So
yeah, Jerry, bro. Do you know what? The Spurs fan at my work, I asked him the same question. He said the same thing. He goes, "You either back Conte 100 million%, or you just get another manager because it's not going to work."
I agree with that, though. I definitely agree with that. I think, look, because we're looking at, he's only got 6 months left in his contract. Yeah. So at the end of the season, his contract at the end of the season.
He's going to wait for the money. He's going to wait for the money.
That's the thing, though. So there is an extension in that contract, but there is no money for him to wait for. He gets the money either way, whether he gets sacked or he leaves. At the end of the season, it's either Tottenham decide he's got a 12-month extension, or he signs a long-term deal, or we're going to part ways. At the moment, I say we're in the January window. I feel like we need to decide that now, because we're either going to start to give him what he wants and start to like build towards next season, because as we know, it's not looking so great, but top four is not far away. Title challenge is out of the question, of course, but we can still get top four. We can still get
in the Champions League,
and we're still in the champ. There's still things to play for, and I'm not looking to just throw away the season saying let's let Conte play it out and see what happens. Because as you guys say, if he's not happy in 2-3 months and Tottenham are playing bad, he's gonna fuck off and be like, I'm out this summer anyway. And then halfway through the season, we're gonna have to bring in a new manager who's then gonna have time to build his squad, and it's just a delayed reaction to what can potentially happen. So Tottenham do need to decide
right now.
The
stream is like basically it's like how do you save your season? How do you improve your season? Do you think the only way Spurs save their season or improve their season right now is back him in January and getting some players, and that's it? That's the only
100%. I think that we need to sign at least 3 players in this January window. Give him players that he wants, and I'm aware that they might not be big players, but give him players that he wants to see if he can play it out, get it done, and then in the summer, back him, give him the contract and back him, because as you guys said, there's no elite managers in world football right now. He is literally off the top echelon of managers. There's about less than 5 managers better than him in world football. Tottenham have got that manager. You need to give him what he wants to bring trophies home, because he's got trophies at every single club. There's no other managers out there that can guarantee you what he brings, and that is trophies and success. He just needs the players.
Okay. There's one thing that has to be asked as well. First of all, make sure you're liking the stream, people. Big up everyone that's watching inside. Make sure you're subscribing to all the guys' channels down below right there. If you're watching right now, all you can do is just click on that link, subscribe to Jerry and all the other guys. George is always here. Big up Father for joining us as well, Chelsea fans. So thank you guys for watching today, George, Jerry, Father, Mo. We've seen a little report. George, you know what I'm coming with, innit?
Is it Tommy
Harry
T?
Kane.
Harry
Kane.
Oh.
80 million. Would he go to Manchester United? I'm hearing reports. So I'm a Man United fan. I'll have my say on what I think on it. But guys, do you see this happening? Because I think this is something that I can just picture in the summer. Breaking news: Manchester United agree 80 million fee with Spurs. More to follow. Matt Law or Paul Joyce or something. Harry Kane, man. Manchester United want a striker. Harry Kane might not be looking to sign a new deal. He's 30 coming up in this summer. Is this the striker Man United go and get?
Do you know what? Yeah, it's one of those things, because I saw the report. They said he's not really entertaining any contract renewals, and quite frankly, Tottenham need to either cash in or we're going to let him go for a free. So I would like to see him go abroad. Let me be real. I need to see Harry Kane go abroad.
Let me just be real with you. The reason I'm asking this question is because Bayern Munich
no one can pay for him. I know. That's the problem. No one can pay for him. And also, he wants to break that Premier League record. I feel like right now, that's the only thing that's on his mind is breaking that Premier League record, because he knows he's only a few seasons away from it. So Nah, it break my heart to see him at Man United. I can't do it. I can't even think of it. Like seeing him at Man United.
It's like Arsenal with Robin van Persie, isn't it?
It's not even that. Forget that. Like it reminds me. Teddy Sheringham done it to us. He literally done it to us. Teddy Sheringham done it to us. He left us at a time when Tottenham were good. We're on the brink of potentially doing something. He left and then he went and won trophies at Man United and his career started to look great again. I can't see Harry Kane do that to us.
But can you see Spurs selling him for 80 million to Man United? Like Man United's project, the way we're moving right now, like it just Man United. Do you know what it is, George? Man United love signing like England's best players. It's just always been us, innit? Yeah. We love the Roonies and like we get the Andy Coles a day. We got like, do you know what I mean? We always go for them type of players. Like can you see you lot selling them to us?
I can definitely see it happening. I mean, at this point, is like you said, we haven't really got a choice. We have to sell him to someone, and Man United is the only team. We're not selling him to Chelsea. We hate Chelsea. Like, so they're the only other team looking for a striker. Not going Man City with Haaland. It's Man United. It is. It's only Man United. To be fair, it's literally only Man United. Apart from unless Real Madrid come out of somewhere and just be like, "Oh, we want you." It's only Man United in world football that can really buy him. So I see it happening if they put the bid in. What
if you get top 4, George? What if you get top 4?
Even if we get top 4, it could potentially. He's got a year left in his contract, so you either let him go for free, or he's going to be like, I want to make the move. And at this point, he'll force the move, and Tottenham aren't going to stop him for a second or third time. We're not going to tell him you can't leave again because he already tried twice. We're not going to tell him you can't leave again. It would make no sense. So I could see it potentially happening. And personally, as much as I would hate to see it, I can't blame him because if he's still not won a trophy by then, he's not got nothing to his name. What is he staying here for? Because I can't see the vision at Tottenham. How is he going to see the vision? It doesn't really make sense. So it's going to be a hard one to swallow.
Yeah, man. It's interesting. We said Jerry on this and Farmer.
RVP 2.0. That's got to be vetoed by every Premier League club. Everyone's got to do something to stop Harry Kane getting to Man United. It'll be shocking. It'll be shocking that I think, especially with the way United are playing right now, imagine they had a Harry Kane. It'd be a problem. It'd be a serious, serious problem. We're talking about them being a title challenge now. Imagine if they had a Harry Kane, they'd be up there with Arsenal, I believe. Like 100%. 100. Like we can't. That can't happen. I don't know. Conte's got, strong arm Kane. Make him see the vision, innit? Make him see the vision. I know you can't see the vision, George, but
okay, I want
to bring that FA Cup home, man. At least he can carry that medal.
There's a question that I did in Mama Flossie and D1 are saying, can Newcastle come in and snatch him?
Too late.
If Kane leaves Tottenham, he's going to want guaranteed trophies.
Yeah, it's too late in his career.
Not that Man United can guarantee it. It's just that Man United's project it looks a lot better than Newcastle.
Still Manchester United is well in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, with Manchester United, you guys need a striker. And I feel like you cannot start Martial week in, week out because his injury probably might be in. And that's the problem with it. And if you're in Harry Kane position, I think you would wait for that Man City move because that Haaland, I would say Haaland's going to move to Real Madrid in the next couple of years' time. I'll be real with you.
Kane will be 32 by then.
I'm pretty sure Kane's contract's out in 24. So the end of next season, I think it is. Yeah. That's why there is a jump.
It's the end of next season, not this year. The end of next season. He has to move in the summer. Otherwise, he's going to stay on
we discussed this before. I think that Haaland's move to Man City is a stopgap. He's going to move to Real Madrid anytime soon. After he does what he's done with Man City.
I think he does like 3 years. I don't think Kane's in a position, like Jerry said, like if it gives me Van Persie vibes, like 2.0, he's 30 in the summer. He has had a few ACL injuries, but I'm going to end that debate because he actually hasn't had a big injury since like 2019 now. It's like 4 years where he's going on being like quite resilient.
It's that ankle injury more than anything though, isn't it?
Yeah, he hasn't had that in a few years though, Jerry.
That's what I'm saying. He hasn't had that for years now.
2019 to 2020.
Yeah,
wasn't it last season?
Nah, he was consistent last year. Last year he had he missed the start of the season, but he was
lockdown and that. Yeah, like it's 2020, so he's actually been quite robust. But I don't know if there's Man United fans here watching. Mo, you have your say after as well. But I'm gonna be honest with you, George. I don't want Harry Kane. I don't want him. I don't want him. People love the greatest goal scorer. Harry Kane, 30 goals guaranteed or whatever in all comps, like minimum. There's something about him, that like he's a brilliant player. If he was 25, I'm having a conversation. But being 30, spending 80 million on a 30-year-old, that for me, is not going to get any better. He's a brilliant player, but he's only going to regress, I think, from here. He's starting to drop deeper and deeper. We want a number 9. I'm not saying he can't go back to that, but he's dropping deeper and deeper, reminding me of Rooney a bit. For me, I know it's a bit raw, but I like the unpredictability. I would go and spend 120 million and spend 40 million more on Victor Osimhen, who I know is going to give me 5 years.
That's a good shot.
5 years. He's young. He's dynamic. He can press still. He can actually improve. And Manchester United are heading that project where you said, man, you know, Tottenham's not clear right now. Manchester United is clear. We're signing like these young players. We're getting the Antonies. We're getting like we've got Sancho. Like we've got Garnacho coming through. Ten Hag's building for the next 3, 4, 5 years. With Osimhen at 24. That's what you want in his prime, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yeah. I know Harry Kane is here to win now, but yes, he guarantees us goals, but I don't feel like he's the guy that I want to spend 80 million on, you know, for a 30-year-old. Yes, he's going to get us goals, but I'm just not, I don't know what it is.
One thing I will say is that Kane, although he's getting older, I feel like, like you said, his game's adapting constantly. And even this season, you've seen he's got the most headed goals he's ever had in a season. Like, even though that, like, he starts to drop deeper and stuff, he is getting better at different aspects of his game. So I still feel like he can contribute a lot of goals and still contribute to the way that you play. He would just need to adjust. Like, he wouldn't be able to drop deep for Man United like he doesn't. To be fair, I don't really like that he does it for Tottenham so frequent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need to adjust.
I'm going to give you an example of a... Yeah, I'm gonna give you a tie before we go to Liverpool. Just Harry Kane, if he moves to Man United, he's gonna be your Benzema.
Yeah, that's what I see.
He's gonna be your
so Mo, if he moves at say 30 in July, if Kane moves
30,
do you think we get 4 years out of him?
You're gonna get a great 4 years. You're gonna get a great 4 years out of him. A great 4 years because he's gonna. Harry Kane is a very smart player. Harry Kane is a very smart player.
What would you do, Mo?
Smart manager like
Osimhen or Kane?
Harry Kane for you. The way you play, you need an Osimhen like spaces. The way Ten Hag wants to play. Listen, if you watch Ajax, the likes of Tadic and Haller, they're not like players to play in spaces. They're to play in tight places. And Harry Kane is great back to goal, great in link-up play. This is what Ten Hag wants. Ten Hag is going to get the goals from Rashford on the left and Anto on the right. Sancho comes in. Garnacho is going to develop. Harry Kane is going to help all these guys get involved in the game. Osimhen is a focal point. He wants everything to go through him. I think he will get a good
but
4 years.
That's my comeback to it. Martial, for me, everyone knows I've got a pillow. I love the guy. But yes, I get what Father says. Injuries, he can't really stay fit. However, if you get a gunman more number 9, like Osimhen, he's a focal point in the box, wants to score, create, and get on the end of chances. If we've got Martial and him rotating or whatever it is, at least we've got 2 different profiles. If you need to change, look, we've got Weghorst now, a target man type of thing. You've got Osimhen, who's a proper number 9 goal scorer, and then you've got Martial, who's brilliant at linking up the play, dropping into the pockets and doing that Firmino role, they call it. Then you've got 2 different profiles. Why would I want Martial and then also Harry Kane, who does the same thing?
Yeah, that makes, to be fair, that makes sense, but are you keeping Martial? Are you still?
Bro, he's staying. He's staying.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
No. I like what I said. Okay, so people in the comments are saying the focal points. Martial and Harry Kane are focal points, and Haller is a focal point. What I mean is that Osimhen is an explosive player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
he likes everything to go through him. You have Rashford as an explosive player. You get. I think. Okay, this is my opinion. I think if you get Harry Kane, it will help Marcus Rashford reach his prime at the age of 28 or something, right? In 2-3 years. Yeah. Or like in 2-3 years. If you get Osimhen, I think Martial takes a second, you know what I mean? Like a passenger seat to Osimhen. And we can see what Rashford can do when he is like the star man. I know Harry Kane is going to come in. I don't think he's going to be your star man. I think it's still going to be Rashford for you. But Harry Kane will help him, especially with that England link up between them. I think Osimhen is a different type of player. I watch a lot of Serie A, and I'm telling you, Osimhen is like a spaces guy behind the defense. You're not going to be the team that defends all the time. You're only going to do this against Man City. Ten Hag is going to be one of the highest managers in ball position in the league within the next year. And you're going to need someone like Kane to get involved in this. Like Pochettino. Pochettino used to play possession football, the tiki-taka passing thing. And you need Harry Kane. You're not going to need Osimhen in this.
It's going to be interesting.
But I want to move to Liverpool because we've been going for 50 minutes. Jerry, understand you're going to stay or leave.
Hey, George, by the way, sorry, just quickly, George, have you got to move or...
No, I'm good now. I'm good.
Oh, okay, perfect. Sorry, Mo, carry on. I thought you had to leave at 6:30. That's all good. Carry on, Mo.
So I just asked Jerry one question, and then you're gonna elaborate. Klopp, stay or leave? Is it time? Time is for now.
All good things come to an end. All good things come to an end. I'm a Klopp outer, an avid Klopp outer. Ty's surprised, but he's not really surprised because he knows I said it. I said it on too many platforms now. Do you know what it is? He's not. There's no changes from this man. There's no changes. There's no tactical changes. We can talk about FSG and kind of not having the funds in comparison or not spending in comparison to other teams, but that's another point. We have the best right back, the best centre back, the best goalkeeper, the best left back, the best DM, the best captain, the best right winger, and we can't beat Wolves' B team. We get popped by Brighton's team. You have Thiago. For me, it's one of those ones where he hasn't showed me anything to suggest that he can adapt. He's never rebuilt a team, so I can't put faith in that. Every other team he's been at, the cycle's lasted 7 years. Yes, he deserves until the end of the season, but that's because of credit in the bank. Put it this way: if Klopp had this type of season at Chelsea, would he still be manager?
Ooh, good. Wait, that's a good question.
Under which? Wait, hold on. Under which ownership first? If it's Roman, then he's out.
Roman.
Oh, Roman. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
If he had this type of kind of, this type of form at Barca, would he be gone? If he had this type of form at Real Madrid, would he be gone? If City were in this position, would he be gone? Yes, he would. Reason being is because these guys have elite standards. Now, because Liverpool's a precarious situation, because you're looking at a team that hasn't won the league for 30 years. He's come and obviously helped us win the league, given us the best feelings we've had as fans, especially my kind of age group and majority of fans nowadays. You're looking back at the 70s and 80s to see any type of success from Liverpool, like sustained success. He hasn't really provided that either. You're talking about sustained success. If he was to leave at the end of the season, we've got one Premier League and one Champions League.
You think he's underachieved then, Jerry? Like during this best Liverpool era, whatever.
100% he has. 100%. He will look back. I know for a fact that if I look back on it and I'm like, we missed one with that, we could have won that Premier League. And yeah, you could look at investment for that. You can also look at tactics for that. Tactically, did we go into games right? Did he go and fumble the bag? Why did we spend? Look, forget the whole investment thing, right? We spent 80, 90, 60 million, whatever it was on Darwin Núñez, whatever figure people want to go and chuck about, right? He's been decent. He hasn't been fantastic, but he's been all right. But Klopp's used that money. That's a Klopp signing. Klopp's used that money and said, the midfield is fine. Everyone sees that there's a problem with the midfield. Ty does, Jords does, Art Father does, Mo does. Everyone can see a problem with Liverpool's midfield and have seen it for years now, seen the cracks. He said, you know what? Now I'm going to run that midfield back and we're going to go and sign the striker. I'm going to splash all our funds on this forward. We then go into January and sign another forward because of the forward line. We still haven't addressed that situation in the midfield. How can I have trust in a manager like that when he keeps making these glaring mistakes? I don't know, in any walk of life, if you're working at Tesco's, in a high paying job in the city, if you're a venture capitalist, if you made mistakes like that are critical to the business or the things of it, and you had the depletion like that and a drop off like that, you'd be gone. So how can I not even think about, you know what? Is Klopp even the right man right now? That's not to say that Klopp can't go to another team, the German national team, and pop off. That's not to say that.
You think he's done here?
At Liverpool, yes, I believe so.
Wow.
I agree. I think they need a refresh. It's just that time where, like you said, it's come to the end of the cycle. And sometimes it's not even just him. The players, they need something new. They need to just train a different way. They're in the same regime for 7 years doing the exact same thing, playing this hip-hop, heavy metal football. And everyone wants to call it the mentality monsters and all of this stuff. And unfortunately, that everything comes to an end. And Klopp's just has come to that end. I feel like he's reached a peak, what he could do with this team, with that, especially that core group of players that were holding him down for so long. And then I feel like where it went wrong was when he started handing out the contracts extensions to all the 30-plus-year-olds.
That's what killed me, because we're a sell to buy a model. That's exactly it. We were a sell to buy a model. So we work on the premise that in order to get any funds in, or that's what the narrative was, To get any funds in, we've got to go and sell our players to go and do that. We've done that with Coutinho, right? We got rid of Coutinho when we had no money. Do you know what I mean? No money. We got rid of Coutinho. What happened? We went and bought Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Fabinho, all in that kind of period, right?
Mhm.
We could have done that.
I want to ask you something, Jerry, about this. They're related to this.
Yeah.
I don't think, personally, that Jurgen Klopp has any authority in Liverpool Football Club based on the history. Salah was not his signing. Mane was not his signing. Naby Keita was not his signing. Not a lot, like 50% or more of these signings that maybe succeeded because he's a brilliant manager in your club, they weren't his signings. But that proves he's a great manager. He's just not getting the players maybe he wants. He's working with the hand he's dealt.
All right, cool.
So you're blaming him for these players, but it's not his fault, maybe.
Two of those
I'm
players
not
you mentioned
talking
were his best players.
Yeah, I'm not.
But that tells you how good he is, George. That he worked with players that he didn't want.
No, that's recruitment. That's recruitment mode. Because we're not talking about he signed a 17-year-old gem that no one knew about, like Marquinhos in Brazil, and he's turned him into a world-class player. Look at the trajectories these players were on. Go look at the stats. Virgil van Dijk made no error leading to a goal before the season before we signed him. No error leading to a goal in that whole season. Played 37 games. The season after at Liverpool, he only made one error. So you could already see the trajectory was there. With Salah, look at the goals and assists. The trajectory was there. Yes, Klopp was able to go and motivate and compile these players and create something. We can't take that away from him at all. But to go and say, oh yeah, he's not getting his players, that's shocking. He, instead of having Mane and Salah, he wanted Julian Brandt and Mario Götze. What's Götze doing in Frankfurt?
Yeah.
Like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. And then in this season, when he went and said to himself, you know what? Yeah, now I'm gonna have a bit more control. Michael Edwards has left. I'm imposing myself on the transfer market now. What did he do? Darwin Núñez was his signing.
Don't forget his assistant as well.
Pep
Linders as well.
Talk about Pep Linders. That's the worst thing. The worst thing about Pep Linders is is that for how shocking and how idiotic and how egotistical this number 2 is, probably the worst number 2 I'm experiencing right now. All the blame is going to FSG. It's the fans. It's Pep Linders. It's the doctors. We have no doctors. It's the physios. They're not getting them fit. But Klopp gets away with murder. Klopp can't do anything wrong. He has no accountability. He's just Oliver Twist. Can I have some more? I'm not getting fed enough. I don't believe in that narrative. Because ultimately you've gone and, like I said, even if it was 90 million, you spent that 90 million wrong.
I like this from Jerry. Jerry, I like this from you today, man.
You wanted Minamino.
Amazing testimony, to be honest. You're fantastic.
You wanted Minamino.
It's putting everything into perspective.
You wanted Minamino. Now, where's Minamino? Flopping at Monaco. Instead of getting Mitoma, we went and decided we got Minamino. Instead of getting Haaland, Klopp opted against Haaland, then we went and got Minamino. And they were in the same team.
Where do you know what, Father? Where do you look at this? Because you've obviously had Chelsea, you've had Abramovich, you've had different managers coming in, but then you've always had an owner that's backed your manager in terms of always spent and stuff. When you look at sort of the FSG, you're looking at Jurgen Klopp now. Are you agreeing with Jords and Jerry that you're thinking it's time for Klopp to move on, or are you thinking, do you know what? I want to back him. Because remember, you guys didn't really want to.
I agree to a certain sense, and for me as well. Like, if you want to become a good team, you have to build that foundation from the goalkeeper, from the back line, from the midfield, then up front. And I feel like with the Liverpool, in some cases, like you keep some of these players that have been declining ever since they won the league, by the way. But then you only focus more on the attackers, and that's why, as a Liverpool fan, if I were Jerry, I would be so depressed and infuriated myself. And the fact that I've seen some reports that there's a protest apparently on Saturday against the FSG.
Yeah, the Chelsea game, against the Chelsea game.
So it kind of sounds to me it's like this is mainly on the board level fault and also the Klopp's level, because the way that Klopp talent ID is something doesn't feel right at the moment. You need a midfield. Don't get me wrong, you need midfield big time. I've seen the links about Bellingham since the last World Cup. Until right now, where has it been? It's gone missing. Now you look at it like right now. If Real Madrid gets Bellingham, you lot are finished.
We
Van
did the
Dijk's-
same thing with Chouameni in the summer. It was Chouameni. We invited Chouameni to come to AXA. Do you know what I mean? We gave him some sandwiches, walked him around. Henderson tried to, do you know what I mean? Like convince him about what to go and do. Real Madrid coming in and then that's it. And then that's it. So for me, like I said, it's not to say Klopp's a poor manager. It's not to say he can't go and replicate what he done at Liverpool somewhere else. It's not even to say he could go and even to better things. But even these players, imagine having that same message and that same voice for 7-8 years. Mane came out himself and Mane wanted to leave last summer. Not the summer just gone, the summer after before that. Klopp had to convince him to stay. Because Mane came out in BBC Africa talking about the move to Bayern Munich has been the best move he's ever made in his life. Because he felt refreshed. He didn't know what was going on. Why am I not on form? Why can't I perform? That's normal. Imagine being at a job for 7, 8, 9 years. You get stale.
You know what's mad as well, though? Because big up everyone that's watching, by the way. Make sure you subscribe to Jerry James, Liverpool fan. Make sure you're checking out Jords content, Fathers. Obviously, me and Mo are here. Never a foul. You know what time it is every time. 120 of you watching, so big up. I see Daps in the comments as well. Hope you're good, my brother. But the maddest thing as well from all this, you know what goes under the radar so much is that for me, like this Liverpool team didn't succeed as much as I think they should have. Like Jerry said, like when they talk about like the best Liverpool team or a quadruple potentially with 3 games to go and whatnot, put that aside. But in terms of trophies, when people talk about like eras, I'm going to go through this era still thinking, yes, Liverpool won a Champions League. Yes, Liverpool won a Premier League. And Daps is going to love this. But I still look at it as the Man City era. I still look at this as sort of the era that Man City were the best in the last 10 years. That's how I look at it. I do.
I mean,
I don't
feel like there's anything wrong.
I might be wrong.
Arsenal in the 2000s. Do you know Arsenal in the 2000s? Everybody remember it's Man United time between 95 and
but it's because you look at the league titles.
And Arsenal were the challengers.
That's what everyone remembers, Mo. When you look at it, it's domestic. When Liverpool look at that era and they think, like Jerry said, you miss out on the league by 1 or 2 points or whatever it is. No one remembers the seconds. It's about the league titles domestically. The Champions League, obviously, Man City will want to win. I get that. But I feel like Klopp has maximized what he can do at this football club. And I'm going to link it in a weird way to David Moyes. I know David Moyes and Liverpool are different. But David Moyes, right, he got to the Europa League final. He got them to like top 5, top 6 or whatever it was. But you know that West Ham are not going to be able to repeat that. And already fans want him gone. And he's maximized what he can do with that time. He's now finding Paqueta and Flair players. He's not a Flair manager. He doesn't know what to do with these, man. It's like eating chicken and rice for the first time and you're asking me these peas or these like green peas. Like people don't, you know when people don't have a clue. And that's David Moyes right now with Flair players. So for me, I feel like with Jurgen Klopp, I just feel like he's maximized what he can do. He needs a refresh and the players do. But guys, the main point is he just signed a new contract like this year. 2022.
You know what? When you talk about the contract, this is the thing that annoys me, right?
The performances since then, Jerry, have dipped. Listen to this.
So the talk before, and I was in this camp as well, 100%, was FSG. They're not giving him the money. Right? But then he goes and signs a contract knowing what the parameters are for the job. So let me put it this way. Imagine, Jords, I told you, come on my stream, But you've got to berate Tottenham. And I stick it on you. You've got to tell them Tottenham's rubbish. When they're not, they're flying high in the league, right? Let's say, hypothetically. You come out and be like, you might obviously get bombarded, do it the first time. If I call you and ask you to do the same thing on the stream the second time, you're going to be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because I don't want to do it. Why is he signing a contract? And then he's got in press conferences, he's coming out and berate and getting amped up against, the reporters because they're asking him about transfers and he's getting aggy. I don't get it. You're either in bed with him or you're not.
That's the thing, though. He has been a yes man for a while because even in the summer transfer window, when everyone was saying you need a midfielder, he was the one saying, no, we don't need a midfielder at the start of the window. He said, we don't need one. We've got enough players.
And then had to come out and say sorry.
And then he come out and change his tune when there's a week left of the window. So for me, I feel like a lot that there was too much things that went wrong in this like that past summer window, especially with the Salah contract situation. Like you said, you guys had the opportunity to get rid of a big player and start to refresh the team with that money. And you didn't do that. I feel like so he missed his opportunity. Liverpool have missed the opportunity with him, and I feel like the whole club just needs a bit of refresh. And like you said with Klopp, like it is a lot of his fault. He can't blame anyone else but himself for where Liverpool are at this moment because Liverpool have been nearly men for a long while. Like Ty alluded, we're all going to remember that Liverpool were the closest to doing the biggest thing ever, but they're also just so far because they had 2 Champions League finals that they lost. They had two or three leagues that they lost.
Yeah.
2 league titles.
2 league titles that they lost. Like time and time again, Liverpool should have done better, but they just didn't. And you're all only going to look at the manager as to why that happened, because you had the players. It was always left on Klopp, unfortunately.
Do you know what? Last question before we wrap up, because I know we've done over an hour. Yeah, big up everyone that's watching this. It's been a great show, by the way. Some banging questions. Like, my question for all of you lot then, when you look at Liverpool right now, they're still in the Champions League. This is notoriously something they're very good at competing in. Diaz, Jota, they will have players back come February.
They don't think they're the champs no more, man. Look.
I know. But you know what? Over, do you know what, George? They're my biggest rivals, but over 2 legs, I'm never writing them off. I'm not doing it. I'm
100%.
not doing it.
Fair enough, yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Over 2, I'm not doing it. But like, if they're not going to invest in a midfielder, they're looking at Matthias Nunes. I'm getting told, obviously, maybe in the summer and whatnot. They need it now. They're 10th now. They're not
getting anyone now.
They're not getting anyone now, Jerry. So how do Liverpool save the season between now and 4 months' time in May?
That's my problem. That's why I'm starting to edge out. I'm like, you know what? There might just need to be a change in this team. So you either just start playing the youngsters and maybe they perform because they've got a bit more heart, or you go and the manager's got to change because he's not going to go and do a Conte and be like, you know what? When he was at Chelsea and you know what? We're playing with a back four. We're getting packed. You know what? Let's go to a back five. Let's go to a back five and see how that works. Klopp's not going to go and do that. I've been asking for a back five for ages now. A back three. Allow Trent to do that Reece James role. Let him stay higher up where he doesn't have to go and track back. Where he can be in positions without having to look over his shoulder all the time. Klopp's not going to go and change that. Why not go and pack the midfield out and just only play 2 up top? Because our midfield ain't got the legs to run about.
He got asked a question the other day, like, I saw on Talksport this morning. I heard it on Talksport when I was jumping to it early hours in the morning. Someone said to Klopp last night, I think, are you too loyal? He said, no, I've got to have some loyalty, but I'm not too loyal. You know, he's kept players like Naby. Not saying Naby Keita's not good, but there's players that have been kept for longer.
He signed Henderson when we could have cashed in on the Henderson and got another player, and we wouldn't be in this situation right now. You went and signed. You gave Milner an extension. Like what are we?
Bellingham is there, bro.
He thinks the way he's loyal isn't being too loyal. It's not that he's not too loyal. He just feels he's not being too loyal. 100% he's too loyal. But to answer your question quickly, I'm going to let the rest of the guys talk.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. That's why we have to just ride it out now, innit? It's just enjoy it, take it.
I got a question from Daps, but I want to.
Yeah, Daps' question is brilliant, by the way. Oh, Mo, I wanted to save it to the end.
But it's not about that. I want to. Just a question, simple for everyone on your club. Can you win the Champions League? Can you win a trophy this year? Any of you? Can you win any trophy this year?
Yeah, great question, Daps.
To any of us?
Yeah, you three, not us. We know we're winning something this year.
You can start.
Don't be so confident. Newcastle are waiting for you for that one, but I feel pretty confident. I'm obviously not pretty confident, but the FA Cup is still there for the taking. Few teams are going to be going out the next round. Liverpool could be going out tonight. Man City or Chelsea's already out. Man City's got, is it Arsenal in the next round or Man United?
Yeah.
They got a rival lineup in the next round. So it's looking like the big teams are coming out. They're lowering down. Potentially, I'm not going to say Tottenham are going to go do it because we haven't done it in a long while, but it's there for the taking.
You know what? From Chelsea's perspective, I can see us going far, but for me, probably not as far as maybe semi-final. I would say probably quarterfinals, in my opinion. You never know, innit? Because we still have players coming back. We still have Reece James, Raheem Sterling coming back as well. You got Conte, he's going to be back in March time. So it'd be interesting in 2 months' time when Chelsea have the whole of the players coming back healthy. So it'd be interesting though. But at the moment, I'm just going to wait until 2 months' time, man. It's too early to say.
Yeah.
Jerry, quadruple people. Well, what's going on?
Yeah. No. We're not winning anything. I know Real Madrid look mediocre against Barca. They got popped off the park.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna do the same to us. I believe so. There is a hope. There is a chance because, as Ty said, over 2 legs at Anfield, anything can happen. Like we've seen crazier things. But I just don't believe in this team at the moment. I've turned from a believer into a doubter again. So I've done a full 360. Well, yeah.
I'm loving
Even
this
it
honesty. Jerry.
sounds
To
like
be
even a
honest,
cap's agreeing in the
absolutely
background.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Man. Fantastic. He's like very honest with himself, Jerry. He's like
Yeah,
he's
good,
not
man.
like
That's why I
trying
want
to
Jerry
just
to come
say
on, man.
stuff to
Proper
sleep
football
better,
talk with you,
to
man.
sleep better at night. He's like seeing it as is. And
We're gonna see
But
a whole
anyway,
new Jerry when they get the Qatar owners. I'm telling you.
Oh,
I'm not forgetting.
but, but that's the right.
I'm not
no,
forgetting
it's
that
not.
video, George. I saw it on his Instagram. I saw it. Bring that. He wants the money, man. He
the
wants
oil. Bring me the oil. Bring me the oil. Bring me the
the
oil.
oil. Oh, but yeah, quickly, lastly, anyone want to chip in? Is there anything you want to add to Jerry just before we wrap up about how Liverpool can save their season? George, Father, do you guys see anything?
Nah. Like Jerry said, you just got to ride the season out at this point. I don't feel like there's much that they can do. As you said, they're looking at the owners are looking to sell, so they're not going to sack Klopp or invest too heavy in the club because they're just looking to get rid of. So at the moment, unfortunately, the fans are they're stuck with how it is right now. They just need to wait for the new owners to come in to then decide whether they want Klopp or they're gonna go with a new manager. And similar to what Bowley's doing, just start to invest in the team and a whole new overhaul into a rebuild.
I'm echo what you George said as well, and don't forget, like I said, there's a protest on Saturday. It'd be interesting to see as well how many people.
But that doesn't make any sense. Why are we protesting if the new owners are coming in now? What are you protesting for?
Sure, Jerry, they don't work. We've tried and done all that sort of thing, and you get a couple signings or something.
Other than that, like I would think you guys need a midfield next summer, in my opinion.
Yeah,
midfield big time.
Father, just a quick question before we wrap up: who finishes higher, Chelsea or Spurs in the league? Chelsea or Liverpool in the league?
In the league, I say Chelsea.
Jerry, would you agree?
You know what? I think Liverpool will finish ahead of Chelsea, yeah, but I'd rather be in Chelsea's position because they're trying to do stuff. They're making signings. They've got a new manager. There's some hope. There's no hope, but I still think I will probably go on a run like towards the end of the season and get like 6 or something.
Okay. And what about you, George? You might finish above both. So what would you say, Chelsea or Liverpool?
I think we're definitely finishing above both, but I think Liverpool will be about. Do you know what it is? It's just going to be more embarrassing as to who finishes in the Conference League play.
What are you going to finish? How confident are you?
I'm very.
I know. I met you beginning of the season. You were 100% confident finishing top 4. 100%. You were coming with challenging for the title.
I told you, Mo's jealous because we got his manager right now. But
I love that.
You got my fucking manager, bro.
You ruined the guy. He won at Chelsea, won at Inter. You got the guy, and instead of turning your club to winners, you turned the guy into a loser. That's what you did. You turned the guy into a loser. He was a winner everywhere.
There's still trophies to play for, but top 4, I'm not 100% sure about anymore. I mean, depending on how this window goes, we need a few players, and we can still push for it. It's obviously not done. There's still a lot of football to play. But I'm 100% sure I'm finishing above these 2 clubs, man. Chelsea, Liverpool,
yeah, because I don't think that one's over yet. So
one of them are going to be playing Conference League football next year.
One of them might not be playing either.
I want no Europe.
Or not, George.
Yeah, or not.
They're looking good.
Or not, George.
Or not.
Let's see in 2 months' time.
What a stream, man. I'm not going to lie. Sorry, guys, we overran a little bit, but I'm not even going to lie. I think I might have to get some clips because there's been some killer questions, some good answers, great football talk. Thank you, guys. That's why I got you guys on. Big up, Father, for coming on as well. Jords, Jerry, James, as always. Make sure you down on the link below. Subscribe to their channels. Make sure you support them. Follow them on the socials, man. Good football talk as always. You know what it's like. You guys in the comments. We didn't read out loads of the comments, but I've seen them here all on my phone. Big up everyone that's been watching. Hopefully, we can all watch Wolves now do a bit of damage tonight. Sorry, Jerry, just to top it off on a Tuesday night. But Mo, is there anything you want to say? But of course, yeah, thank you to everyone, man.
Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to hit that like button if you're still here, and we really appreciate you. We love the community here, and we love our guests. Thank you so much. I enjoyed this so much. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, perfect.
And from all of us here at Never Foul, we really appreciate you. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
Take care.